Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. I'm Cody Proctor. Mark is off tonight. Let's get started. Leading us off this evening, thunderstorms flashed across the inland northwest this evening. Some even saw hail tonight. Check out this photo a viewer sent to us of some of the hail that was seen in Evans, north of Kettle Falls. Meteorologist Michelle Bosch joining us now this evening. And Michelle, what's the latest on these storms?
They should be winding down overnight, but it's really been feast or famine when it comes to who's seeing the rain and who's not seeing it. Let's look at radar right now. Spokane Airport, not a single drop of rain, though there was quite a bit of lightning to be seen from Spokane if you looked off to the northwest. There's a couple of areas in particular that are seeing some of the heaviest precipitation. You can see tons of lightning with these storms, but the good news is also some pretty heavy downpours as well in addition to the lightning, so that somewhat mitigates the fire weather concerns. But between Curlew and Republic, some heavy rains. We were getting reports anywhere between as much as half an inch to 3/4 of an inch under some of these thunderstorms, which have been slow moving. The other area just north of Highway 2 between Davenport and Reardon, up north and west of Deer Park, also seeing some heavy downpours. Again, more than a half an inch of rain in some of these spots, whereas Spokane is staying dry. All right, 75 degrees right now in Spokane, 73 in Coeur d'Alene. The areas that did not see the rain saw some hot temperatures today, but we're all cooling down to the 70s right now. Look at the next 12 hours, dry here locally, isolated thunderstorm possible, and we'll see that chance again tomorrow afternoon with a high of 87. Much cooler as we get to the weekend Saturday, upper 70s to around 80.
Michelle, thank you so much. Developing tonight, a federal judge ruled Idaho can't enforce a strict abortion ban in medical emergencies. That means criminal enforcement of abortions and medical emergencies are on pause. Here's 3 things you need to know at this hour. For starters, it'll still allow hospitals to treat ectopic pregnancies and pregnancy-related complications normally for now. However, the law is still set to go into effect tomorrow, making performing an abortion that's not a emergency medical situation a felony punishable up to 5 years in prison. The reason behind the judge's decision is because abortions in those cases appear to fall under a federal health care law requiring Medicare-funded hospitals to provide, quote, stabilizing treatment to patients. Right now, we know the pause will continue until a lawsuit challenging the ban's resolved, the judge said in his written ruling. In tonight's continuing coverage, a former Lincoln County sheriff pleaded guilty to a criminal charge for helping cover up the DUI crash his son was involved in last year. Former Sheriff Wade Majors faced up to 90 days in jail. He apologized to his community ahead of today's sentencing. KREM 2 was the only station that traveled to be in court today. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk was in Davenport.
Well, today a judge told the sheriff he should have known better and asked him point blank what on earth he was thinking. He said it's a shame to see someone in his position do something like this.
Your Honor, I would just like to apologize for everything. I had my dad hat on instead of my sheriff hat on.
The former Lincoln County sheriff pleading guilty and saying he's sorry for what he did. Court documents show Wade Majors helped his son avoid a DUI and lied to his own deputy who investigated the crash more than a year ago.
What were you thinking? It just hurts. It's disheartening to see someone in your position actually do something like this.
According to court documents, Major's son rolled his car while driving to his dad's house. He left the scene and called dispatch hours later saying he swerved to avoid hitting a deer. When Majors got a call that night from one of his deputies, he said he believed his son was being treated at a local hospital, but court documents show he was actually with his father. The sheriff refused to let him go to the hospital until he sobered up. He had broken ribs and a pinhole puncture to the left lung.
I understand you're a good person, a good man, a good family man, good father, husband. You should have known better.
Weeks later, during a follow-up interview, the sheriff's son admitted to drinking 8 beers before driving that night and said he lied to protect his job and his dad.
I know you put on your dad hat, but you can't do that in your position. You can't. I can't. You can't. It's just not allowed. And here we are in court.
Garfield County Judge Thomas Cox agreed to the state's recommendation and sentenced Majors to 40 hours of community service. Davenport resident Brenda Hendrickson felt the judge went too easy on the former sheriff.
It's disheartening to see a law enforcement official be able to perform such acts and get away with it. If it had been any other citizen in this county, they would have seen jail. They would have seen the fine.
Majors has been with Lincoln County Sheriff's Office for 32 years. Back in April, he announced he would not seek re-election, and he stepped down as sheriff this last June. Reporting in Davenport, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Kyle, thank you so much. New tonight, Spokane Public Schools vote in favor of installing vape sensors in their high school bathrooms this fall. This comes after an increase in students vaping. The sensors will detect any vape in the bathrooms. An email and text will go on to staff to check on the situation. They'll also be linked with the camera system. Now to Night Beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. It's been 1 week since the trial against former Spokane police officer Nathan Nash began. Today, the defense's witnesses took the stand. Frontier behavioral health psychiatrist and Nash's wife, Christine Nash.
What did you diagnose her with?
Schizoaffective disorder, bipolar type. It's a mood disorder that has manic symptoms in the bipolar type. It can also include depressive symptoms.
Nathan Nash was discharged from the Spokane Police Department in 2019 after one woman accused him of rape. Then another victim came forward, also claiming Nash raped her back in 2019. Today, the doctor could not testify if the victim experienced this disorder in 2019 at the time of the alleged rape. In opening arguments, the defense did mention the mental credibility of one of the alleged victims would be questioned. Nash's wife also took the stand to defend her husband. She testified she heard a phone call conversation between Nash and one of the victims and also communicated with Nash on the day of one of the alleged rapes. In opening arguments, the defense claimed there is not enough evidence to deem Nash as guilty of these crimes, but tomorrow will be his time to testify his innocence as he takes the stand. A civilian drone forced firefighters to pause their work on a Boundary County wildfire this weekend, thanks to it interfering with air support. Now law enforcement is reminding people it's illegal to fly personal drones near an emergency scene. They say response time is critical in cases where flames can spread in a matter of minutes.
I believe my plan is responsible and fair. It focuses the benefit on middle class and working families.
Today, President Joe Biden announced student debt relief for federal borrowers. The president's plan forgives $20,000 of debt for Pell Grant recipients and $10,000 for other borrowers. It's capped for borrowers earning less than $125,000. Additionally, the Department of Education proposed new rules that would cap income-driven repayment plans at 5% of monthly income and overhaul the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. Coming up in about 10 minutes, how the debt relief will help graduates here. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text the word night to 509-448-2000. We'll send them right to your phone. Covering the nation tonight, the Uvalde CISD board announced its unanimous decision to fire Police Chief Pete Arredondo.
I move that good cause exists to terminate the non-certified contract of Pete Arredondo effective immediately. I further move that good cause exists to ratify the unpaid leave status of Mr. Arredondo starting July 19th, 2022.
The announcement comes after the board meeting went into executive decision, which angered many as per Texas state law. Arredondo has been blamed for the department's response to the Robb Elementary School shooting, where 19 children and 2 teachers were killed 3 months ago. He and his attorney did not attend tonight's meeting. And on to a story we just can't stop talking about here at KREM 2. We now have an update on the incredible story from earlier this week. More than 40 beagles were sent to the inland Northwest from a breeding operation in Virginia. We spoke to Spokane staff, and they've received about 800 applications to adopt these cute pups. They're stunned by the outpouring of support these dogs have received over these past few days. Now they're going through the process of sorting through all the applications to find the best possible forever homes for these pooches. And that was KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. But don't go to bed just yet. Paying off student loans just got a little less daunting. A deeper dive into the president's announcement back in 90 seconds.